Author's POV, the elevator chimed as it rose toward the 47th floor of Jeon Global Holdings, a world built on power, precision, and the ice-cold authority of its CEO, Jeon Jungkook. Employees whispered his name like a warning, like a storm you didn't want to walk into unprepared and clutched a stack of quarterly reports as she stepped inside the executive suite. Her heartbeat wasn't steady, not today. Not after being summoned by the CEO himself with a cold two-word email, "Come now." JJK, she knocked on his office door, palms damp, "Enter." His voice slid through the air, deep, controlled, and far too calm. Junkook sat behind his massive glass desk, black suit sharp enough to cut. His tie was loosened slightly, a sign he'd been dealing with something. Unpleasant, he lifted his gaze to Y/N dark. Piercing, unreadable, "Have a seat." She obeyed, feeling the weight of his stare like a heat source, too close, too intense. He slid a folder toward her. "Read." Y/N opened it, then froze. A contract, marriage duration, 1 year, public appearances mandatory. Emotional discretion, recommended financial compensation, enough to erase every debt she'd ever known. Her breath hitched. This is a joke, right, Jungkook? "I don't joke." "Marriage to you?" His jaw flexed. "The board wants stability, investors want reassurance, and my last engagement scandal cost the company millions." She stared at him. "And dragging an employee into a marriage won't." He leaned forward, eyes narrowing slightly. "Not just an employee, Y/N you're competent. Clean record, no scandals, no connections that complicate things. You're reliable." "Wow," she whispered. "Such romance." His expression didn't soften. "This is business, nothing more." And then something flickered in his eyes, something sharp, something hungry. "I'll benefit too," Jungkook added quietly. "Sign the contract and your life changes overnight." Her pulse stuttered. She should say no, she should run, but his gaze held her still, dark, unwavering, almost possessive, and her voice betrayed her. "What exactly do you need from a wife?" He rose from his chair, slowly, deliberately, until he was standing in front of her, towering over her, heat rolling off him in waves. "Attendance at events," he said softly. "A united front, someone the media can't tear apart." He reached past her, placing one hand on the arm of her chair, caging her in without touching her. "And someone," he murmured, breath brushing her cheek, "who won't fall apart under pressure." Her throat tightened. "This is insane." "Maybe," he said, "but it has to be you." Her heartbeat stumbled. "Why?" A long silence, then, "Because when you're beside me, I don't feel alone." She sucked in a breath. His eyes dropped briefly to her lips, just a flicker, but enough to set her entire body on fire. "Think carefully," Jungkook whispered. "Once you sign, you're mine for a year." Her pulse thundered. "And you're yours," she said quietly. He froze, something darkened in his gaze, something dangerous. "Sign," he said, stepping back, regaining control. "And you'll find out." Her hand trembled as she reached for the pen. Her signature hit the paper, and the temperature in the room changed. Jungkook exhaled, slowly, deeply, like he'd been holding his breath. This was no longer business. This was a storm/N. The first rule of a contract marriage: pretend nothing feels real. Too bad their chemistry disagrees. Author's POV. The following day, Y/N walked through the building like someone carrying an explosive. Everyone sensed something had shifted. Whispers followed her down the hallway. She entered Jungkook's private penthouse later that evening, suitcase in hand. The contract included cohabitation for realism. The place was breathtaking: marble floors, glass walls overlooking the city, warm lighting. But the air felt tense, charged, like the space itself knew a secret. Footsteps approached. Jungkook appeared in the hallway. White shirt, sleeves rolled up, the top 2 buttons undone. "Effortlessly devastating." "Elate," he murmured. "Traffic," she replied, refusing to shrink. His gaze dragged over her suitcase. "I'll show you your room." They walked down a quiet corridor. She noticed a door slightly ajar. His bedroom. He noticed her noticing. "Go in there," he said softly. "Why not?" she challenged. A slow, dangerous smirk curved his lips. "Because I'm not sure you'd come out." Her breath hitched. He opened the guest room door for her. Cold, modern, impersonal. She set her suitcase down. Jungkook leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. "You'll join me at a dinner tomorrow." "Wear something elegant, bossy," she muttered. He raised a brow. "Would you prefer your husband gentle?" Heat shot up her neck. "You're not." "This isn't." He stepped closer, too close. "Say the word husband again," Jungkook murmured, voice dropping, "and watch what it does to me." Her knees nearly buckled. He exhaled sharply as if steadying himself. Good night, Y/N. He left before she could answer, but she swore she heard him mutter something under his breath as he walked away. What are you doing to me? A/N. POV shift, late night tension Y/N POV. I tried to sleep. I failed. The penthouse was silent except for the faint hum of city lights. My thoughts kept circling Jungkook, his voice, his smirk. His almost touch. I got up for water halfway to the kitchen. I froze. Jungkook stood by the window, shirt off, city lights painting shadows across his bare torso. He didn't see me. His shoulders were tense. Jaw tight like he was fighting something, invisible something, internalized, stepped backward. But my heel bumped the wall. He turned. Our eyes locked. His chest rose and fell slow. Heavy, can't sleep, he asked. No, I whispered. He took one step toward me, then another and another until he was in front of me, the warmth of his body radiating like fire. Neither can I. He said softly, his hand lifted, hesitated, then brushed a stray hair behind my ear, touch so gentle it burned. We should keep our distance, Jungkook murmured. Then step back, I whispered. He didn't dot instead. He leaned in, breath ghosting my cheek, voice trembling with restraint. I'm starting to forget, he whispered, that this marriage is supposed to be fake. Her breath caught. My boss, she whispered. Shouldn't say things like that. Maybe not. His fingers grazed her jaw. But your husband can. Her entire body heated, and just when she thought he'd kiss her, he stepped away, leaving her trembling against the wall/N. Public appearances blur private desires. Dangerously authors POV. The charity gala shimmered with gold and glass. Cameras flashed everywhere. Jungkook offered his arm. Ready? He asked. Are you? She shot back. He smirked. Not even close. The moment she slipped her hand into his grip tightened. A possessive, electric hold. Reporters swarmed. CEO Jeon, introduce your wife. Did you two fall in love quickly? Is it true you moved in together? Jungkook pulled her closer, too close. His lips brushed her temple, a whisper soft, almost kiss. Smile, he murmured. For them, but the heat in his eyes wasn't for the camera's dot, it was for her/N. POV shift, the dance Y/N POV. When the slow music began, Jungkook took my hand. Dance with me. No, I whispered. We'll mess up, then mess up with me. His palms settled on my waist, hot, firm, sending shockwaves through my body. He guided me effortlessly, eyes never leaving mine. E shaking, he murmured. E close. I whispered back, too close, not close enough. His breath hitched, he lined in, foreheads brushing. Y/N, don't do that. Do what? I breathed. He swallowed hard. Make me want things I shouldn't. Lightning shot through me hot. Wild, uncontrollable, then stop wanting them. I can't. His voice broke. I can't stop wanting you. My heart nearly stopped. His hand slid down my spine, pulling me against him, every inch of him pressed to me, every line of restraint fracturing. He lowered his head. A camera flashed. He jerked back, chest rising sharply. Not here, Jungkook rasped. If I kiss you here, I won't stop. My blood burned. He held my wrist and whispered, let's go home. A/N, one confession shatters everything. Authors POV. The car ride home was silent, heavy. Electric. Jungkook kept glancing at her, jaw clenched, hands tight on the wheel. When they entered the penthouse, the door closed with a soft click then. His control snapped. Jungkook pressed her against the wall. Not touching, just caging her in with his arms. His breath trembled against her ear. Tell me to back away, he whispered. She didn't, his forehead pressed to hers. I shouldn't want you like this. Then don't. She whispered, his eyes darkened. I said I shouldn't, he murmured. Not that I don't, his lips brushed hers, barely. Then his phone rang. He cursed under his breath, stepping away. The call was brief, harsh. When he returned, he looked destroyed. What happened? Y/N asked. My ex-fiancé, he said tightly. She's threatening to release private photos, to claim I cheated, to make the company collapse. Y/N felt cold. And your solution? He met her gaze. The board wants proof our marriage is real. Her heart cracked. That's why you want me? Y/N. No, she snapped, pushing him back. You're using me. It isn't like that. You just need a shield, a wife, a pretty prop. Something shattered in his eyes. Stop, he said quietly. No, she whispered, voice breaking. You promised this wouldn't hurt. His jaw tightened. I lied. The words stabbed her. He realized it instantly, regret flashing across his face. Y/N. Wait, but she walked away, and this time he didn't stop her. A/N. When everything falls apart, the truth finally fights its way through author's POV for 3 days. Why/N avoided Jungkook. She stayed in her room, worked remotely, left early, returned late. Jungkook barely slept. Barely ate, he walked through the penthouse like a ghost, haunted, restless, eyes on the door every time it opened. He'd lost control of everything: his company, his reputation, her. One night, a board member cornered Y/N in the lobby. "You should leave the marriage quietly," he said coldly. "Jungkook's career is at stake." She clenched her fists before she could respond. A voice thundered behind her. "Don't talk to her like that." Jungkook, he stepped in front of her, protective, furious. "She's my wife," he growled. "You don't touch her, you don't talk down to her, you don't even look at her unless I say so." The board member paled and left. Silence dropped. Y/N whispered, "Why did you do that?" He turned to her, eyes raw, haunted, desperate. "Because I'm in love with you," he said. Her breath stopped. He stepped closer. "I tried not to be. I tried to keep it professional. I tried to keep it distant. But every time you walk away from me, something inside me breaks." His voice shook. "I need you, Y/N, not for the board, not for the company. For me." Her eyes burned. "Then why did you lie?" He swallowed. "Because I was scared the truth would push you farther away." She stared at him, heart unraveling slowly. She reached for his hand, and he exhaled a broken, relieved sound. "Lie again," she whispered. He cupped her cheek with trembling fingers. "Never again, A/N. The contract ends, but something real begins. Author's POV. The press conference was packed. Jungkook walked to the podium. Y/N at his side. Flashes exploded. "Mr. Jeon," a reporter shouted. "Is your marriage authentic?" Jungkook took the mic. "Yes," he said. Then he turned to Y/N and smiled, a real, breathtaking smile. "Because I love her." Gasps rippled through the room. He took her hand, lifting it gently. "This marriage began as a contract," he said, voice steady. "But somewhere along the way, I stopped wanting it to end." He looked at her like she was the only person in the world, and Y/N realized he meant it, every word. Afterward, when they stepped into the quiet backstage hallway, Jungkook pressed her against the wall, breath warm against her lips. "No more pretending," he whispered. "No more contracts," she replied. His voice dropped to a growl. "Just us." Then he kissed her, slow, deep, hungry, claiming the kind of kiss that ends stories and begins lives. Her hands curled into his shirt. His fingers dug into her waist. Every emotion they'd buried finally burst free. When they broke apart, breathless, his forehead rested against hers. "My wife," Jungkook murmured. She smiled softly. "Your trouble," he smirked. "My heart, A/N. A contract may have forced their marriage, but love made it real."